actually, you know, like if you move it around, depending on what view, you actually can set up, you know, Control D again if you duplicate. I could change the attributes of the light. I could change the intensity, the color, you know, if I wanted to, you know, lovely pink, or, you know, whatever I want it, right? So I could make it glow a certain way. Usually you don't change the attributes of the light. You actually give materiality to it that has the color. And then what we did before, we went to rendering editors, hypershade. So this is the previous version had a much simpler way of doing this. I don't know why they made this so busy. But there's a few steps you have to do here. So first thing, you have to give it, and I bet it's similar in the other programs, you need to give it a type of a texture. So the ones that I recommend just when you first start are, there's a Blinn, a Lambert, and a Fong. The Lambert is a matte finish, the Blinn is a little bit glossy, and the Fong is really shiny. So I'll just click on one of those, and this sphere pops up. So what you want to do is, when this window comes up, and if this window didn't come up, you just need to double click on it, and this window will come up. Then you click on where it says color, and then this comes up, so then you could assign it an actual color. And then you could give it, you know, transparency or whatever you want to do. I wouldn't play too much with any of these numbers here, but if you want it to be more ambient or incandescent, you know, and so forth. Once you have that, that's pretty much all you need to do, just for a very basic shader. You just select your object, you go back to the shader up here, you right mouse click on it, and you say assign material to selection, and then it turns to that color. So this is basic rendering without like materiality that does specific things, which, as you can imagine, there's tons and tons of, because you could make it look like anything. You could even make it furry. So once you have that and your lights are there, right, so I have it lit, I could actually, I'm almost ready to render it, so the next thing I need to do is set up my rendering settings. So you have to click on this little last thing here. Again, I'm going to go over all this, don't worry too much, this is a lot of steps, I just want to quickly show you. So we're just going to render it in Maya Software tab, right, you see here. I'm going to change the format to a JPEG. I'm going to select the size of the image that I want. So I'm going to, image size, I'm just going to pick 1K, it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to click on Maya Software, this is really important, and I'm going to change the quality to production quality, which then is highest level. Then I can close that. And finally what I want to do is it automatically wants to render it on a black background, so I want it on a white background. So I'm going to click on this little tab here that says View, Camera Attribute Editor. This comes up, I'm going to scroll all the way down, click on Environment, and I'm going to change that to white. And then that's it. And then I'm going to close that. And now it's ready to render. So now all I have to do is click on this little tab here, render the current frame. So it's, you know, for a very simple thing, it looks pretty plasticky and nice. And then I could actually I could take it out of here. I could save the image. Make yourself a folder outside of where it wants to save it, because you'll never find it. So make your own folder called Maya Images somewhere that you know where it is, and then send it there. And same with this thing, the Maya Scenes. Make another folder called Maya Scenes and save it there. Okay, so then that's that. So this is actually not what we're going to do, but I just want to show you what a regular rendering looks like. Delete this. I never know how to delete these. I'm going to delete it. Oh, it does that. I'm going to make a new geometry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the lights. There's the light. I'm going to show you a different way to render it, and this is how we're actually going to do it. So we're going to do an occlusion rendering, which I'm sure you've probably all seen in 3D Max. So the way you do that, occlusion rendering is just a black and white rendering. So first thing you want to do is you see these little layers down here? You want to make sure it's selected. You want to click on the Render tab. You want to select that last one that has a little sphere in the picture. Click on that. Then you want to select that layer as a warning. Hopefully it still works. Then you want to right mouse click on that and say Add Selected Objects. Then you want to right mouse click on it again and say Attributes. And again, we'll go over all this again. This pops up. You want to go to Presets, Occlusion. Okay, and it needs to turn black. Then you know it's going to work. Then you want to click on this little tab here, MIB Occlusion 1. You want to change this number to 256. You want to change this spread number to 5. And then we're done with that. Okay, zoom in. Then you want to go back to that original render settings. And this is now a mental ray rendering. It's a different type of a rendering. So once again, we want to select the size of the image. We'll leave it at 1K. But most importantly, you want to click on Features. And you want to select Final Gathering and Ambient Occlusion. Those are the two tabs you have to select. And then we're done. And now when we go to render it, this is going to take a little bit longer than the previous rendering. You're going to have to change some settings. But basically it gives you a really nice black and white, shadowy kind of rendering, which then we could underlay on top of the, like a screenshot of the points, and it can start to look more diagrammatic for our purposes. And this is actually the type of rendering we're going to do all along. When you do your models, and it's going to, I think, go very well with your white models when you start to overlay them. So imagine if this was the form of your building, and then you had the form of your physical model, you could start to do collages to combine the two together.